Thanks for tuning in to the Urban Scope podcast. I'm back with more hip hop news, of course, a hip hop review, the review that everyone's been waiting for, the Alfredo 2 review. Alfredo 2 just recently released by Freddie Gibbs. Now, this album made me excited about hip hop again, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in my review of why that is so. But firstly, I just wanted to talk about just a general satisfaction that I have for this album. And I believe, well, I know this album is, to me, is better than Alfredo 1, and Alfredo 1 was good as well. But this album right here, Alfredo 2, should be in contention for awards and all the acclaim that it deserves, especially Album of the Year at the Oscars, I mean, not the Oscars, at the Grammys next year. It should be in consideration for that. Um, and Freddie Gibbs should be also considered or in consideration for hip hop artist of the year and artist of the year with the mastery that he put on this Alfredo 2 album. Now, this album, other than the Clips album, this is the best album I've heard all year, especially in hip hop. The Clips album is very close to me. Who could be better? But I want to say that I give Clips the nod now because I've listened to Alfredo 2 about 4 times. I've probably listened to the Clips about close to 10 times. So I have more experience or more time to sit with the Clips album. But this Alfredo album, as far as production, I felt that Alchemist outproduced Pharrell on the Clips, Let God Sort Him Out album, just for the simple fact of the consistency and how concise this album was with the beat selection and with the soulfulness of it. There was a lot of soulfulness on the God Sort Him Out album. However, the Alchemist, I felt like he's more concise with it because Pharrell uses a lot of different sounds that the Alchemist doesn't use. He and the Alchemist use a lot of samples and a lot of sounds that sound very soulful. So of course I'm a sucker for the soulful beats. And this Alfredo 2, if you love the soulful beat type thing, this is definitely something that you will mesh with more than the Clips album. Even though the Clips album, I want to say, has better, just a little better rapping on it and um, more flow to it, I want to say. But Freddie Gibbs is one of the best with the flows. But however, I feel like Pusha T and especially No Malice, they have just more experience and they've been more tried and tested. But nevertheless, I do think the Alchemist should be in considerations for producer of the year as well. His production this year has been phenomenal, and he's just been on a streak similar to what Metro Boomin was doing last year with Future and with others. The Alchemist is doing that this year with he has a project with Yassine Bey coming up. He has a project with Erica Badu coming up that I'm excited about, and he's doing this with Freddie Gibbs now. But he's doing a lot with the production. So uh, kudos to Alchemist for this because he created a lot of sounds that I believe that will be the soundtrack for my year. A lot of these songs I've been playing over and over again. But back to the Alfredo 2, this is a very good album with the cohesiveness that I talked about, the elite rapping from Freddie Gibbs, and he keeps getting better and better at the rapping, so it's only getting scarier. But I think the Alchemist created also a hypnotizing sound because I can't stop listening to these songs or hearing the production in my head. So I'll give a rundown of these tracks as well. Uh, but the Enchilada song, I love that song a lot. Just the production and the rap, the marriage that it put together. This album overall gave me goosebumps and made me realize why I fell in love with hip hop. The way the music took you to a place, and this took me to a place of just being chill and not being carefree. It made me feel like all the problems that I didn't have when I listened to this album, just for the simple fact of um, music is supposed to take you to a place, and not songs lately and music lately hasn't been doing that as much for me. But this album, I felt, took me to a place where I usually don't go. I felt carefree, and when I listen to these songs, I don't think about anything but the music at the time. And that's what, fell in love with first is the music, and this music definitely did that. So shout out to Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist for creating this experience for us, and especially for me as a hip hop fan and hip hop enthusiast. So I just want to put that out there. So that's one of my more soulful songs on this album, the Enchilada song, and also it has the legendary Anderson .Paak on it as well. So you can't go wrong when you put Anderson .Paak on a hook. He's one of the best at the hooks in hip hop. But the highlight is probably the Empanada song. I think this song had Freddie Gibbs' best rap performance on it, and he didn't really get overshadowed by the production as much. That song, he was just pure lyricism on it. Um, his artistry was on point as well. Which that's one of the things I like about Freddie Gibbs is his artistry and his able to be brave and not be shy about expressing himself and giving the listeners or the fans his true perspective on things. You don't ever have to there's no ambiguity when you think about Freddie Gibbs about how he feels about someone or something. He'll let you know up front. And I like that he's not always PC as most of the artists or athletes that we have today. Most of the athletes and artists are trying to protect brands and money and different things like that. Freddie Gibbs doesn't care about that. It seems he puts it all on the line and gives the fans what they really came to see, and that's a show. And it's no difference than the song Lavish Habits. Lavish Habits is one of my favorite songs because he's addressing beefs and things like that, especially with academics and Ghana. It was very hilarious, but it was very Freddie Gibbs-esque to go at them like that, especially early on this song Lavish Habits, which is my favorite song off the album. Just for the controversy, the production, the rapping, just puts you in a different light. It's very funny. And I love that song. That's my favorite one on the album. And also, I like Gold Feet, the song Gold Feet. JID, I haven't listened to much of his music, but after hearing him on this song, I listened to him more and I like his sound. So I'll be probably doing some more reviews because he has an album coming out next month. So I'll probably do a review on that, especially as a new listener to give a review on him. But he definitely has a top 10 flow in the game and the rapping ability. And be from Atlanta, he gave me more of an outcast type vibe. He sounded a little bit mix of Big Boy and Andre 3K. I know it's kind of odd to say, but it was weird. Just the terminology he was using being from Atlanta and being that lyrical from Atlanta. Usually when you're from the South, they don't give you credit for the lyricism, but he definitely has that. And being in that, that camp with J. Cole and being uh, a part of, their crew of Dreamville, he's definitely unique in that way, being from the South, being lyrical and getting credit for it. Or actually, he doesn't get credit for it right now because he's more on a, he's more coming up now and trying to get his name out there more. But most of the people in the hip hop world know him as a lyricist. So, um, and then of course, Shangri La. I like that song. Of course, it has 3 6 Mafia sample, which I'm going to be a little bit biased about coming from Memphis. I like that song as well. But overall, I want to give this album, if it was on, back in the magazines back in the day, it would definitely be a 5 mic album. The Alchemist and Freddie Gibbs put up a classic performance. One of those albums that you cannot tell the story of 2025 hip hop and music without this album, because it's definitely one of the more elite ones. Next to that Clips, Let God Sort 'Em Out album. So I just hope the industry took notes on this, and then we can keep this momentum going into the fall and into the winter, and forever to come. So, tell me what you think. What are your reviews about this? And until next time, I'll see you next time.